We're live.
Oh, did they see that I fell in the garbage can? Hardcore detoxify yourself. Maybe I will just have it sitting up by the book.
Did it get dirty?
No. Well, we don't really put trash in our garbage can. I mean, like food scraps and stuff. That's for the compost. How's that? So look good, Drew?
Looks good.
All right, welcome. You just saw a little bit of behind-the-scenes setup there. So welcome to another edition of Cooking with Dorothy. Thanks for joining us tonight. We're so excited for this episode tonight because we're making one of our favorite meals. We're making a Veggie Stir Fry. Woo-woo! So we had quite a full day today making and producing our magnesium. This is the old bottle, actually, the trial bottle. You can see the label is a little bit water damaged. We have improved the label so that does not happen anymore. You won't get any water damage on your label. It'll stay nice and bright. It's water resistant, so it'll stay nice and clear. But, whew, we had a long day. But we're here, and we're going to show you how to make a stir fry. We send out Cooking with Dorothy emails prior to the show so that you can get the recipes and grab ingredients before it happens. I'd love it to hear if anyone is cooking along with me tonight. Let me know in the comments if you're cooking along with me tonight. But if you're just tuning in to check things out and then you're going to make your own stir fry later on, that's fine too. But we do send the recipes out in a newsletter format before every show so that you do have the recipe and you know what we are making. If you're not on our recipe email list, you're going to want to be. So you can do that by subscribing. Drew's going to drop a link in the comments, and then you can subscribe to the show, to the email list for the show. We send out the recipe before the show, and then we send out the video again after the show so that you can have a replay if you need to go back and check some other things out. So, Drew, do I need, before I get rolling, anything I need to know?
No, we're feeling good, looking good. We got some people tuned in here, so it'd be nice to know where you guys are watching from.
Awesome. So thank you so much for watching. If you're tuning in, let us know who, I guess we know who they are. I was going to say, let us know who you are and where you're from, but I guess your name will pop up. So, but
If
give
they
us a
comment.
hi. Yeah, if you comment, say hi and let us know where you're listening from. We always like to know where our listeners are tuning in from. It's very interesting because as we grow, our audience is growing as well, so we are getting different people or new people listening from all over, which is so fantastic. We so much appreciate the support that we receive. So, I will go through ingredients, and we'll also talk a little bit about the health benefits of a veggie stir fry and why you're going to want to add stir fries into your regular eating habits. So we're going to get into that a little bit as well. Before I continue, I just want to give a shout out to Drew. You may have heard him behind the camera.
Yeah!
So Drew is behind the scenes, behind the camera, and he's there to answer questions as well. So please, throughout the show, if you have questions, please ask, because that's what we're here for. We're here live in front of you to interact, and we always love interacting with our viewers so we can get to know you better. So if you have questions, don't be shy. Ask away. We also have our Detoxify Yourself book on special throughout this next Cooking with Dorothy series, which is all about detox. So Detoxify Yourself was written by Drew.
Yeah!
Drew wrote this quite a few years ago. There's all kinds of information at the beginning of the book on how to detox your body. Now, this isn't a conventional 7-day, 10-day cleanse or detox. This is a lifestyle detox. So Drew takes you step by step in this book, takes you step by step on how to live a detox-free lifestyle. There's a meal plan at the back that'll take you through 4 weeks. Well, 30 days. 30-day meal plan at the back. It'll guide you through your first 30 days of a whole food detox. So it's very, very convenient. Grocery shopping lists, recipes, all you need in here. So this next series of Cooking with Dorothy, or this current series of Cooking with Dorothy, is based on recipes from Detoxify Yourself.
Yeah, so we got Dylan who jumped in here.
Hey, Dylan.
Dylan said, "Hey."
Thanks for tuning in.
Dylan, we went to Dylan. Went to Sri Lanka with Dylan.
Woo!
What's up, Dylan? Dylan is a master chef.
He is. I'm a little bit nervous now that Dylan's watching.
Don't watch, Dylan.
Because Dylan is the chef.
Don't watch. He says, "Good job, Dorothy and Drew."
Thank you, Dylan.
Thanks, Dylan. Jennifer's in here too. She said, just waved hi.
Hey, Jennifer. Thanks for tuning in.
Jennifer just bought a 6-pack of Trimeg, and she's picking it up tomorrow night.
Awesome. I can't wait for you to get it. Thank you so much for being a part of our trial.
We're good.
We're good to go. Okay, so I'm going to put down Detoxify Yourself, and we'll get started with the stir fry here. Hopefully that stays. If you were tuning in earlier, you would have saw it fall into the garbage. Whoopsies. So we are doing a veggie stir fry because vegetables, especially green veggies and colorful veggies, are the easiest to digest for our stomach. And a lot of times, we're not saying don't put meat in your stir fries, but we're just saying that if you're putting red meat, or for example, it's going to be a little bit harder for the body to digest. So we want to be putting in easy foods to digest into our body. We're also going to show you how to, I don't want to say sauce it up, flavor. Flavor is the right word. We're also going to show you how to flavor your stir fry at the end without using any sauces, because a lot of times we make this beautiful, nutritious stir fry, veggie stir fry, and then for flavor we smother it in sauces that are full of chemicals and other things that it's hard for our body to digest. So we'll show you how to naturally flavor your stir fry as well. But I think I should get the stove rocking and we should go.
You should turn that light on, I think would be a good
Yeah,
idea.
you guys can see better with the light on, and I'll try not to put my back as well.
Dylan says I'm opening up a new restaurant in Sylvan.
Woo! Congratulations, Dylan. That's awesome.
We're so excited. We had to drive all the way to Ponoka or Wetaskiwin.
Yeah, mostly, the last couple of times we drove to Wetaskiwin, but we have been a few times to the Ponoka restaurant too.
So Dylan has a couple of restaurants.
One is in Ponoka, and one is in Wetaskiwin. The one in Ponoka is called, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Rancher's Castle in Ponoka. Oh, the food, we call it Dylan food because it's so amazing. If you haven't been, and if you're going by Ponoka, if you're in Ponoka, you have to stop at Rancher's Castle. Check them out. And then they have Castle Restaurant in Wetaskiwin, which is also so awesome. And they have Sunday morning buffet, like breakfast buffet or brunch buffet there every Sunday morning. They have a Facebook page, so you can check them out, Castle Restaurant on Facebook, and they'll post their specials there for you to see. So if you're looking for a little Sunday morning drive, if you're not close to Wetaskiwin, you can go for a little drive, Sunday morning drive. It's a nice time of year to get drives in now and have a fantastic meal.
And soon to be in Sylvan.
Soon to be in Sylvan. Can't wait. That's awesome. So I'm just going to fire up the stove here. We have gas heat, so it will cook a little differently, a little faster than your electric stove at home. But we'll do our best to stay consistent here. So first off, I'm going to throw in some coconut oil. And this is our coconut oil from Sri Lanka. We still have it. It's kind of funny that it made its way from Sri Lanka to Canada and then Canada to California.
It's well traveled.
That really is funny to me. So I'm going to put a couple tablespoons of coconut oil in there. You see, I did not measure. Oh no! I just dumped it! That is so sad. Just a couple tablespoons down the drain. Aww, that's sad. But anyway, let's keep rolling. We'll worry about that mess later. So put a couple tablespoons in your pan. And then you're going to want to swoosh it around. You like my fancy cooking technique? Swoosh it around. And right away, we're going to add some seasoning. We're going to add ginger. So you'll see on my plate here, we have fresh chopped ginger. It's washed, but not peeled. You can peel it if you want to. You can chop it thinner as well if you want. But we like to chop it thick. And then sometimes we eat it, but sometimes we take it out. So we slice it pretty thick. But you can slice it the size that you want. That's what's so great about stir fries is you can make them any way you want. So we're going to put that in right from the get-go. You can hear it sizzle in there right off the hop. And then we're going to add some garlic as well. So we have this kind of fancy garlic grater. So we're just going to take the garlic, grate it up. 1 or 2 cloves, depending on how garlicky you like things. We usually do 2 cloves of garlic, depending on size. But this plate, actually, we got at the farmer's market, and we love it.
It's amazing.
It's amazing because it leaves behind all of the skin of the garlic. So then you just get the yummy insides. So I'm going to put that in there. And then you can take the brush it down. Then you have some nice fresh garlic. That's where the good stuff's at. A lot of times the skin of the garlic makes it harder for us to digest all the good stuff in the garlic. So I'm just going to mix around the garlic and the ginger in the pan and let that simmer together for a few minutes. Oh, I just lost did you see that?
No.
I just lost a ginger. Today's not my stir fry day, I don't think. Holy.
We have Suzanne in here.
Hey, Susan.
And then we have Hilda, my mom's in here.
Hello. So then oh no, I didn't lose it. It's right here. Oh, I tried to sneak away, but I didn't. So then we're going to add our salt, our Himalayan salt and pepper, some other seasonings. And I'm going to let that in the pan first before I put my veggies in. And it's going to kind of simmer around with the ginger and the garlic already in there. Salt and pepper. Simmer around. Do you like my professional cooking terms, Phil?
You're very professional.
Swoosh it around, simmer it around.
Oh, that smells so good.
It does. And then it lets all the aroma and all the flavor and all the health benefits release. If we have the garlic with the skin still on it, it doesn't help release the flavor. Now, without spilling it this time, I'm going to add a little bit more coconut oil. You can see if your garlic starts to brown a bit too much, you can just add a little bit more of your coconut oil. Then we always want to do harder veggies first, and then add our softer veggies like mushrooms and peppers later. I would have onions in this bowl with my soft veggies, but I forgot to pick up onions, so I would normally add onions as well with my soft veggies. So we always have 2 different bowls of we always cut up our veggies first. So we have our hard veggies, celery and carrots, broccoli, and cauliflower. So I think we may have chopped too many for the pan.
Maybe you want to ask them what their favorite veggie is.
Oh, that's a great question. And that's a good point, too, is that stir fries are so fantastic because you don't have to stick to a certain plan, like a certain recipe, I suppose. You can add whatever veggies that you want. So what is your favorite veggie to add to a stir fry? Let us know in the comments. And we're just going to let that cook up a little bit. So we want to do the hard veggies first to give them a little bit more time, because if we add all the veggies together and wait for our hard vegetables to be cooked, then our soft vegetables are going to be so mushy and all the flavor is going to be released out of them and it's going to taste watery, mushy, and gross. So that's why we want to cook it in stages and cook your hard veggies first. Give them a little bit more time and then add that after. So another tip for stir fry is I don't know how to say this so politely, but don't cook the crap out of it. You'll want to make sure that the veggies are still crunchy, because if we wait till they're mushy, again, it doesn't taste so good, and we're losing a lot of the nutrients. The nutrients is all mostly released out of the food. I need to grab a drink of water, Drew. Take over for a minute.
We got Suzanne here. She says green beans and mushrooms. So if anyone else has some suggestions or some of their favorite veggies they'd like to share with us,
let us know in the comments what your favorite veggie is. We'd love to know. So as the harder vegetables, we have broccoli, we have cauliflower, we have carrots, we have celery. as we're stirring that up, we want to give it a nice good stir so that it mixes well with the coconut oil and it mixes well with the garlic and the ginger and the spices that we put in. You can go ahead and add more spices. For example, if you like it a little spicier, you could put cayenne pepper. You could add some cumin. You could add some onion powder, which would be a good idea for me since I forgot onions. But if you have some favorite spices, you can add those, but I would add them earlier than later so they can really infuse into the food. So it's going to take a little while for those harder vegetables to cook. You can add a lid on the top of it if you would like as well, and that will cut down on the cooking time as well if you put a lid on it. Just wouldn't put a lid on it the whole time because, again, we're going to have mushy vegetables. So if you're just tuning in, let us know. We asked what your favorite vegetable was in a stir fry, so you can comment for us. We always like to know. And that's the great thing about the stir fries is you can add whatever, whatever vegetables to it to really make it your own. Stir fries are going to have a ton of health benefits. One of the number one things, their feedback we hear when people start incorporating veggie stir fries into their diet is, oh my gosh, I feel so much energy after I eat the food, or after I eat a veggie stir fry. That's because you have so many phytonutrients that is basically infusing into your cells, into your blood, into your body, and it's really the gas or the power to keep you going. If we're eating, it's so easily digestible. Our body can recognize the food, it can utilize the energy from the food, and it can digest it so well. Do you have anything to add to that, Drew?
No, I thought it'd be interesting. Like, this is a veggie stir fry we're talking about. A lot of times people don't think they can have a stir fry with only veggies. So maybe you want to mention that they can add meat if they like, or that they don't really need it to begin with.
Yeah, you don't really need meat in a stir fry because I think a lot of people are the reason why we are so, I don't know if the right word's trained, but we think that we have to have meat is for the protein. And we are having quinoa. I've cooked up, and I'll explain how I cooked my quinoa later. But we're going to have quinoa as the base. You'll see this here. We're going to have quinoa as the base of our stir fry. That's going to provide us with a complete protein. So we don't need the meat in there for protein because we got it with the quinoa. But so it's not necessary to add the meat, but if you want to, I know some families are a little bit more difficult to convince to have veggie meals. But so you'll just want to find a easier to digest protein, such as a white meat like fish, for example. We have a really lovely shrimp stir fry as well. Sometimes we like to add shrimp to our stir fries. That's always good. We're not saying don't ever add beef to your stir fry. It's just something that you'll want to have less frequently. That's all. Anything else to add, Drew?
Oh, well, Hilda says mushrooms, and then Suzanne said mushrooms as well. So we got some mushroom fans. What's your favorite, Dorothy?
I love mushrooms as well. And I also like asparagus. I didn't pick up asparagus to put in this stir fry, but asparagus is really one of my favorites in a stir fry too. And zucchini, I do like zucchini in a stir fry, but I'm very, it's really hard to cook zucchini so it's not mushy, especially in a stir fry. And quite honestly, Drew thinks this is disgusting, but I like raw zucchini over cooked zucchini any day. It's just a texture thing. I don't like a mushy zucchini. So it's almost ready to throw the other veggies in there. If you wanted to at this point, you could throw another dash of Himalayan salt on there. And we use Himalayan salt because it is actually providing minerals for our body instead of the conventional white salt that really doesn't provide us with any nutrients for our bodies. So we're going to use, if you'll want to use a pink Himalayan salt because it's the least refined and contains the minerals that our body's needing. And then pepper as well. You can add another sprinkle of pepper in there as well. you'll want to make sure, or you'll want to be conscious or aware, thoughtful of the color of your veggies. You'll want to have a variety of colors so that you get different types of nutrients. So we get different types of vitamins, different types of minerals from different colored veggies. So we always say count the colors, not the calories. So you'll want to be making sure that within your stir fry or within any meal, not just a stir fry, you're getting lots of different colors.
You want to talk about your problem with having too much of the same color?
Oh, yes. So if I have carrots in the stir fry, for example, then I don't like to have orange peppers because they're the same color. That's just an example. And I'm really sad I don't have my onions because I don't have anything purple. But we tried to get yellow, orange, red, green, purple all in one meal or one stir fry when we're making it. It's very important. We also make a really nice green stir fry, which is very detoxing. We just do celery, broccoli, asparagus, spinach or kale, and that, oh my gosh, so good. Green veggies just make you feel, well, Drew would say like a plant.
Like a plant.
Makes you feel alive. Like, if you think of a wilty plant, like that's just like, you're like, uh-oh, I don't know if it's going to make it. And you add a little water to the wilty plant and then it springs up. That's what green vegetables do to us. That's what Drew means when he says feels like a plant, because it just brings us back alive, back to life. So we are ready to add the other veggies. These ones are getting nice and tender, but still crunchy. So you want to make sure you still have that crunch in there as well. So I'm going to add the mushrooms and the peppers, and I would be adding onions, but I forgot them at the grocery store.
Do you want to mention the pan you're cooking with?
So we are cooking with a cast iron pan. For us, Drew, help me if I get a little lost, but for us, we like cooking on cast iron pan because it is non-toxic. A lot of times what happens with our cookware is that it's sprayed with non-stick
nonsense.
Hey, I like that. I'm like, what is that called? Non-stick nonsense. And when we're cooking these healthy foods, it's actually infusing the food with chemicals. So, for example, Teflon-coated pans, no good. Don't use those. We did use ceramic pans for a while, but we found over time, and not a very long time, they wore down quite easily. And we just like the way that our food cooks on a cast iron pan. That's how I was raised too. My dad always cooked on cast iron. So we would definitely recommend that as a non-toxic what?
Cookware.
Anything else, Drew?
No.
That we missed?
No, I think you're doing good. There's maybe you mention why do you put those ones in first before the other ones?
Well, you want to put your harder vegetables in first. So your broccolis, your cauliflowers, your carrots, your celery, put those in first to let them cook a little bit. They take longer. So let them cook a few minutes and then add your softer veggies, onions, mushrooms, peppers, zucchini if you're using zucchini, because then they will still come out crunchy and not mushy. If you put them all in together, then you're going to have a variety of different ways that it cooks. So you could have your hard veggies that are still pretty crunchy, and then your softer veggies that are mushy.
So you have like a broccoli that's uncooked, and then you have like a zucchini or mushroom that's like squishy.
So you'd have a broccoli that is raw, and then you'd have a pepper or a zucchini that's mushy. So, and I think that is one of the, because we hear all the time, oh, I don't like stir fries. And I think one of the reasons is because of that, or a lot of times people will come over and it's always kind of our go-to meal because it's quick, fast, easy. It's not expensive to whip up a stir fry. It's pretty inexpensive. So it's always a go-to meal. And we have company come over and they're like, they eat our stir fry and they think it's amazing. and we often hear, how do you make your stir fry so good? But honestly, it's what you cook with, right? The right kind of pan. And it's the process of not undercooking the hard veggies and overcooking the soft veggies. So that really makes a big difference. I'm just going to give it a stir one more time.
Probably good to toss the rest in there.
You think I have enough room?
Yeah.
Well, these are the hard veggies. I think you're going to have to eat them raw.
Oh, I thought you meant the... Oh, did you throw the soft ones in?
I threw the soft ones in.
Where was I?
I don't know where you went. But I didn't throw all the hard veggies in because I didn't think my pan was big enough. And I am queen of overflowing the pan. And then you can't stir it if it's overflowed. So what we'll do with these leftovers veggies is we'll just eat them with hummus or we'll eat them raw. What else might we do with them, Drew? Probably just eat them raw is usually what we do.
Or cook them in another meal.
Cook them in another meal. So it's never a bad thing to have prepared more food. Another thing I like about stir fries is that they can be prepared ahead of time. So, for example, you could pre-chop your veggies on a Sunday and then make your stir fry on a Monday or Tuesday for supper, right? So that would cut down on your time, your cook time, because you could just come home from work, veggies are already prepped in the fridge, and throw them in the pan, right? It would be very preparation would be very minimal. Are you laughing at me?
A little bit. You're doing good though.
So on your base of your stir fry, we choose quinoa because it's going to give us some protein. But you can also choose a nice brown rice or wild rice as well. Sometimes even adding some nuts and seeds on top will give you that protein as well. So if you're not wanting to cook up a base, just add some hemp seeds or some cashews or some almonds on top, and that will give you some protein as well. For the quinoa, I just wanted to talk about quinoa for a little bit because quinoa kind of gets a bad rep sometimes, and I think it's because, again, the way that it's cooked. And so I wanted to share my trick with you. I've pre-cooked this quinoa, but what we want to do when cooking quinoa, it's similar ratios, or the same ratios as to rice. So we're going to want to do 1-to-2 ratio with water. So 1 cup of quinoa, 2 cups of water. Have the lid off and bring it to a boil. So put it on high, bring it to a boil. It won't take very long. Once you've brought it to a boil, put the cover back on, turn it to low. And you're not going to touch it. Just let it simmer for about 10 minutes. It's quick, so you'll have to watch it. But then, after about 10 minutes, sometimes 15, lift the lid, give it a little stir, and then put the lid back on, turn the heat off. So that is the way that you can be the most successful in cooking quinoa. It's kind of like my granola rule when I say it has to be cooked low and slow. So think about that. Bring it to a boil first, and then turn it down low. Quinoa. So we are nearing the end here of the show. The last thing I'm gonna show you guys is how to plate the meal, how we would plate it in portion size, because portion size plays a big role in our health and our nutrition as well, portion size. And we get asked that question a lot. We don't weigh our food. We don't really measure our food. But it's important to know that we do have to be in control of the amount that we eat. So I'll plate the food in a second. I just wanted to mention our products real quick again before we end the show. So we do have Detoxify Yourself on sale for Cooking with Dorothy viewers. So normally this book is $20, and we are having it on special for $15. So if you would like a copy of Detoxify Yourself, you can just send us a message or let us know in the comments, and we can get you a book for $15 instead of $20 as a thank you for watching and tuning into the show.
Sure. All the recipes that you're doing with Cooking with Dorothy?
All the recipes of this series of Cooking with Dorothy are in Detoxify Yourself. So we did the first week a green smoothie. We did the second week, I'm blanking, kale chips. Oh my gosh, they were gone within seconds. This week we're doing a stir fry, and then next week we're doing a salad. But all of those things are in Detoxify Yourself, and it really gives you a clear vision of what the meal plan is like. For example, in the morning, we would have a green smoothie. Then we would have a breakfast. We will be showing you a breakfast later on in our series. Then we have a snack. We showed you kale chips, how to properly snack and fuel your body. Now we're showing you a proper supper meal, detox supper meal, which is the stir fry. So I hear it sizzling quite a bit back here. I'm just going to give it another little stir. It's nearing the end of its cooking journey.
So what's nice about how quick and easy it is?
Yes.
So that we did a little bit, 10 minutes of prep probably before.
Yeah, of chopping.
And then the show, we've been going for about 30 minutes. So that's how long it takes. 45 minutes for a meal, I think it's pretty reasonable.
And the thing, too, is if you prep on a Sunday and chop all your veggies, put a lid on the bowl, throw them in the fridge, it's one less decision that you have to make when you get home. Because I think the question at the end of the day, at the end of the work week when we get home, and our spouse or our child looks at us and says, "What's for dinner?" Sometimes it makes you want to rip your hair out because you're so tired from work. You've had a long day, and the last thing you want to do is make another decision because you've been making decisions all day long. So if it's prepped in the fridge, you're already set to go. You don't have to make another decision. You know what you're doing. So, in addition to Detoxify Yourself, we also have Complete Truth Protein. We'll show you how to use Complete Truth Protein in a smoothie and in baking as these 8 weeks start unfolding. This is our 3rd week. It's an 8-week series of Cooking with Dorothy, Detoxify Yourself style. So we are going to show you how to use Complete Truth Protein. This is a whole food supplement, so we are getting the nutrition that our body needs for a complete meal. So if we throw this into a smoothie, then we're going to be nutritionized the way we would through a proper meal. We can also use it in baking for healthy baking, easily digestible. It's going to give you energy and help improve your digestion as well. And our new product, if you purchase a Detoxify Yourself, we will send you a sample bottle of our newest product, which is the TriMag, True Forms TriMag. It's a magnesium supplement. This actually isn't the true size of our sample. It's actually smaller than this. So this is 4 ounce, 2 weeks worth of magnesium. We'll send you a sample bottle, which is 1 week of magnesium if you purchase a Detoxify Yourself. So our magnesium supplement stands out because we've used a liquid form. It's one of the highest. In a liquid form, you get a higher absorption rate. We have a ton of health benefits because we really chose 3 types of magnesium that are going to be the most beneficial for our health. So we didn't just go and choose the cheapest magnesium out there. We did our research. We are really lucky to have a business partner on board, Greg, who is a chemist and able to help us make these decisions. But we chose 3 of the best magnesiums so that you can reap all of the benefits. So it's good for your heart health. It's good for restless legs if you have issues with digestion, such as constipation. And one of the things I like the most about this supplement is that it helps. We put one of the magnesiums in there, 3 and 8, that's going to help you with your brain. So it's going to help you with improve your mood. And if you struggle with anxiety or depression, things like that, it could help you with that as well. So those are our products. Our stir fry is done. I'm going to shut that off. I'm going to give it one more stir around. And as promised, I will show you how to plate it. I was like, Drew, do you want me to plate the stir fry on the show? And he's like, I don't know what that means.
What is plating?
Put the food on the plate.
That's like when they say fold, when you're baking, and they're like, fold this. And I'm like, why don't they just say mix or stir? They say fold.
Because fold is like the dough, like folding the dough. It's not stirring.
It's like plating. These words don't make sense
It's
to me.
restaurant. You've never worked in a restaurant, have you?
I have never worked in a
That's
restaurant.
why he doesn't know. Everyone should have to work in a restaurant in their life.
Yeah, but look at all these people listening. They might not know either.
Yeah, okay. All right, so we always get asked the question about portion, food size and portion. And although we aren't huge on measuring food, one thing that we do measure is our carbs. So our quinoas, our rice, oats, those types of carbs are the ones that we consume. Lentils, for example. Those carbs are complex carbs, so they are healthy carbs, but we still want to make sure that we're getting the right amount for our bodies. We can't really say that we can give you guidelines, but we can't really tell you exactly what your body needs. You are going to know by your energy level how much your body needs. For example, I know that I need a half a cup of quinoa, and that gives me enough energy, and that keeps me full. Drew needs 3/4 of a cup to a cup, depending on how active he was. He's a man. He's bigger than me. His digestion works a bit different than me. So you'll know you're not getting the right amount if you're hungry right after the meal. You'll know, ooh, I need to up my carbs. You'll know you're getting too much if you don't feel well after the meal, if you feel too full. So after a meal, you shouldn't feel like a bellyache. You should feel satisfied, but you shouldn't feel like your pants are going to explode. That way, if you feel that, then you're getting too much of a portion. So I do a half a cup. Drew does about 3/4 to a cup, depending on the day. So we do take our measuring cups and we measure that out. So we put the quinoa on the bottom always, and then the best part is you can load up on the veggies and put as many veggies as you want. There is not 1 cup or 2 cups of veggies. And in our book, Detoxify Yourself, we have put measurements because we found that people like measurements. And some people, right, they want that strict guideline and they need to follow those rules. But with the veggies, you can put as many veggies as you want. So I'm just going to show you here. These are the ginger pieces that we put in. We tend to take those out and we'll still be getting the benefits of the ginger from the food and the flavor in the food. But they're very strong to eat whole like this. If you chop them up smaller and want to consume them, by all means you can do that. We kind of do it both ways. So sometimes we chop them small and eat them. Sometimes we chop them big and take them out. So it's kind of up to you. Then you can load up on top all of the veggies you want. So just get in there.
Can we see the plate?
Yes, I'm just loading up my veggies.
I think that's enough veggies.
No. So I'm going to come closer. Can you see that?
That's too close.
Oh, that's too close.
That's good. Right?
That's better. So you can see that the broccoli is still a little crunchy but tender, and we haven't cooked the celery and the peppers down so much that they're mushy. It's perfect. And same as the mushrooms. They're cooked down, but they're not mushy, and we've sucked all the water out of them. So for toppings, because remember at the beginning of the show I said you don't want to cook this lovely stir fry full of nutrients that's going to give your body energy and then smother it in a sauce full of toxins. No. Don't want to do that. So what can you do to give it flavor? Now, your taste buds will adjust and change, and this at some point will become enough for you. Like Drew and I will eat it like this most of the time. Just salt and pepper, coconut oil. That's all we really need. And we want to taste the taste of the veggies instead of a sauce or a marinade. But if that's too far for you, there's things you can do to flavor it. So you can take some lemon or some lime and squeeze it on top. Oh, I just got it in my eyeball. Squeeze that on top. That's going to add some extra zing, some extra flavor to it. You can add some parsley on top. You can even throw parsley in at the last minute or two of cook time, and it'll cook down a little bit. Sometimes we throw cilantro on there as well. I know, I was a bit surprised about how many people aren't a cilantro fan. Let us know in the comments if you are or aren't a cilantro fan. Because I love cilantro, I just thought everybody loved it, but that's not the case. Some people really don't like cilantro. But you can top with cilantro or parsley if you want to. And then you can even put we like to put some fresh tomatoes on top. So you can put a little dabble of fresh tomatoes on top there. And there is one thing that we'd be missing from this meal. One macronutrient missing from this meal. Should I let them guess, Drew, or should I just tell them?
I should just tell us.
Okay, I should just tell you guys. So we have our plant-based protein, like our protein from our quinoa. We have our antioxidants from the veggies. We also have protein and carbs from the quinoa, but we're missing a healthy fat. So what you can do is you can take an avocado. And slice it up on top of your stir fry. So I will just go ahead and do that for you now so I can show you the final product. So you can just peel, if the avocado is nice and ripe, you can just peel back the skin off of the avocado like this. If it's overripe, it's not going to be that simple. Sometimes it's hard to pick a really nice ripe avocado. Drew, what are your tips and tricks for picking a ripe avocado?
They have to peel the top of the avocado.
Take that little... What do you mean, peel the top?
Like there's a little, I don't know.
Stem thing.
Yeah, a little stem thing. You pull that off. And if that's like a light green color, then it's going to be ripe. So, my best tip for that is... Dorothy, you're out of the camera.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm just slicing away.
My best tip is to do it often. Like a lot of times people try it once or twice, and they don't get a good avocado, and they're like, oh, I don't know how to pick those. But it takes some time and effort, and I'm really good at it because I've been doing it for years. So there's little tips, like you could pull that little stem thing off and have a look. Like if it's brown, then you can tell that it's overripe. But you can also feel it, and if it's too squishy, then it's overripe. So do some guessing and testing, and don't give up if you try it once or twice and it doesn't work out for you.
Yeah, I'm just really good at it. So this is our final product. I think I did a good job at picking a good avocado. Can you see it?
It looks beautiful. Can you give us that little smile there for us? Beautiful. Thanks.
So let us know if you try out our stir fry or a veggie stir fry recipe. We always love to see pictures or hear from you guys about how it went for you, or if you have a different way of doing it as well. We always like to hear that. We'll be back next week. Next week we're making a salad, so we'll be back next week, same place, same time, Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, with a brand new show. If you need any products, if you would like a copy of Detoxify Yourself, if you need some Complete Truth Protein, or you want to try out our magnesium, please let us know. You can email us or you can send us a message on Facebook. We'd be happy to help you out there. I think that's it. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will catch you next week. Have a good evening, everyone.
See you guys.
Bye.